tell me about hiring. How do you think about hiring?
I think it's very hard. And most people are not good at it, but they don't know it.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not good at it. I don't know it.
Oh, you are lucky if you know it.
Right, yeah.
took me probably 30 people before noticing I was not good at it. No, the problem with recruitment is the feedback loop is very long.
Yeah.
You recruit someone, and only 6 months after you will know if your recruitment has been efficient or not. And when the feedback loop is so long, it's difficult to improve yourself.
Right.
What worked for us is to stop questions about what did you do, your past project, your past experience, in which company. We stop that. I think it doesn't help deciding if the guy is good. We also stop question about what he knows. Let's say if you put in that situation, what would you do? That won't help you finding the great people, because he will tell you right if he lived the situation. He will tell you wrong if he didn't. But it doesn't mean he's good. Maybe he just lived the situation in a team, but he was the worst of the team.
Right.
So what we do now is we make them work. So if you recruit a developer, we make them develop. Salesperson, we make them do a demonstration of the product, sales call, and so on. Because when they are in the job, you quickly notice if they are good.
Mm. And so how do you put them in that simulation?
For a developer, he comes, and for 2 hours, we give him an exercise, and he develops something. For if you need to recruit a video creator, just ask him to do, here is my last video, do the editing, and let's see if the result is good. And if he does it fast. And when you do that, you quickly see if they are good or not.
And does that solve for like people quitting and stuff? Because, I mean, they still might not be aligned with what you're trying to do. Or sure, they're good at the job, but there's the other stuff, right?
But, most people, especially in an economy like in India where everyone's young, they don't know. I mean, it's their first job or second job.
Yeah.
They will know if they like the job after.
Right.
So it's very difficult to predict if they will like it or not.
Right.
Just focus on getting the best. And if your company is good, they will probably like it. If the culture is good, they will stay.
Very interesting. Very interesting. That feels like you made enough mistakes on hiring to have come to that point to realize that, right?
Yeah, it takes time.
How's hiring in other countries versus hiring in India?
It's the same.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Same
thing. You make them do the job.
And attitudinally?
Yes. Same thing. Attitude is not very important, because I believe that in good companies you can adapt to people rather than forcing people to adapt to you.
Right.
I think it's always better if you can have a mix of different mindset, and it's okay to be tolerant to that.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, it's more about the competencies.
Okay.
I'm looking more about, can they learn their competencies more than their knowledge? I think their knowledge is just show that they have experience, they did the job, doesn't mean they were good in the job.
Right. And how about leadership? How do you think about...
Oh, that's interesting. I never recruit managers or director. Never, ever. So the only way to be a team leader at Odoo is to be the best of a team.
Okay.
We only do internal promotion.
Right.
So in a way, it's easier. So I don't have to recruit and bet on someone.
Right.
And usually it's simple because the team knows. I mean, the team knows if the guy is good, who is the best of the team. It's really, if you ask the people, they know. It's already the person they ask when they have an issue, when they need to get information. So for me, it's only about internal promotion.
So you only promote from inside?
Yes.
People who are already recruited?
Yes. It's too risky to recruit external directors.
Right.
They can break your company culture like this.
And then how do other companies who do that survive? Because I do see your point. Like, it's a very risky adventure to take just somebody and install them in a senior position.
Yes, because if he's not great, he might break the team spirit. Huh?
Yeah. He might break the morale. He might break the vision.
And because recruitment is very hard, you never know if he's going to be good or not.
Yeah.
So it's a very big bet.
Right. But isn't like, okay, I've often thought of it like this. Somebody who's great at their job may not necessarily be the best manager. Have you found that to be true?
It depends on what you expect on the manager. If you expect a manager to do budget, planning, reporting, manage people and so on, yes, it's a different job.
Yeah.
I don't expect manager to do that.
Right.
At Odoo, we have no budget, no planning, no recruitment, no firing policies, no reporting, nothing of that. The only thing I expect from a manager is to make the team evolve. When we promote someone, your job is to make the team evolve. You don't need to do budget, you don't need to do reporting, but your team has to become better in a year. And if this is the expectation you have on them, then the only way for them to make the team evolve is They have to be the best of the team. Otherwise, what can they teach to them?
But then who's doing the budgeting and the planning and the management?
In a good company, you don't need.
You don't need that.
No.
Whoa.
Or we do, for instance, at Odoo, we have a budget, but it's the role of the CFO. Only
Right.
3 people at the company do the budget. And that's it. And the rest of the manager, we don't want them to even think about it.
That's a very interesting approach.
It's cool because then people focus on what matters, their job.
Right.
Like a developer will think about building the product. A consultant will think about making his client happy.
Right.
And they don't have side KPIs, budget, planning. If you remove all the things, they can really focus on what matters.
Yeah, so they can focus on the things that they came to do, what
Yes.
they're excited about.
But it only works if you have the right culture. It doesn't work in every company.
Right.
Because in order for that to work, you have to be sure that everyone is aligned.
Right.
Because if there is no budget, people decide. They have to decide, like if it's their own money.
Right.
So you have to be sure that in order to decide if we go A, B, or C, you have to be sure that they are aligned with the strategy of the company.
Right.
You need to be sure that they are empowered to decide,
Right.
that they have real responsibilities, autonomy, and that the people are smart enough so they evolved.
But okay, it sounds like, I mean, I'm speaking from a 5-people team, right?
Yeah.
I'm only learning how to delegate properly. And in that delegation process, I'm almost never sure if the culture is being passed on right? And I always take it upon myself. I'm the leader, I set the culture. This is the tone of communication and such, and this is how we should interact with each other. At scale, how do you keep people aligned on culture at all?
So what you do now, up to 50 people, it will work. 50 people, you will become the leader and everyone will follow you.
Yeah.
Above that, you will need middle managers.
Right.
But then your role will be to ensure these middle managers are aligned with you. And this middle manager will apply that to the people below them.
Right.
So you can do it that way. On top of that, from doing, it's a lot about communicating. Because when you have a lot of people, hundreds, thousands of people, it's not so much about what you do, it's more about how you communicate to them.
Right.
So I used to say that my role as CEO is Chief Explanatory Officer.
That's very interesting.
So for instance, I wrote a book at Odoo which called the Survival Guide for Odooers. It's a book about the culture. And we give that to every single person that joined the company. They receive the book, and that explains the culture. So we set the expectation right away at the first day. So it's about communicating, written or orally, and explaining and teaching that to your teams continuously.
Guys, if you're interested in more content like this, where it actually makes you think and explore how you think inside your head, dude, subscribe, man.